Welcome to the Martech podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Shapiro, and today we're going to discuss everything-led growth. Joining me is Rob Freeman, who is the VP of Marketing at EZO, which is a provider of innovative asset intelligence and management solutions that are trusted by thousands of organizations worldwide. Their credibility is backed by a vast global clientele and a proven track record in multiple industries. And today, Rob and I are going to talk about is product, sales, or marketing-led growth for you. Here's my conversation with an old friend, Rob Friedman, the VP of Marketing at EZO. Rob, welcome back to a new style of the Martech
Hey,
podcast.
I'm excited. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it.
Excited to have you back here.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
good
a,
to
it's
see
been
you.
a long time. You've changed companies. You've got a new job. You got a new role. And might I say, a better video setup. The background's looking good.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great to have you back, and congratulations on the new gig. Excited to talk to you a little bit about a topic that I think confuses all marketers right now, which is not just growth strategy, but picking a lane. It's what I call XLG, something led growth.
Growth.
We've got sales led growth, and product led growth, and marketing led growth, and now there's founder led growth.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Which led growth should we be choosing? Let's start off at the top and broadly. How do you think about the difference between the various XLGs?
I love how you put that. So, starting with the product led growth, yeah, it's how are you bringing in those users, expanding them, retaining them. And when all that rests on the shoulders of the amazing product you're selling, that's product led growth. And I like to think of that going beyond freemium. There is many different flavors of product led growth. Some of them still involve demos. There is a place for those. There is a place for using tools like a story lane or something to be a virtual demo type experience in your product led growth GTM motion there. And then even enterprise software can even have a PLG motion to it.
All right, so product led growth, I think of product led growth being the general ethos is we've built an onboarding funnel that does not rely on people to sell the product. And you mentioned the word freemium. Someone can come in, trial the product, and then either moved into a usage or a subscription based pricing model. So, how is that different from marketing led growth versus your sales led growth channel?
So the ideal profile for a good candidate for a product-led growth is one that has short sales cycles. Your buyers are well educated, tech savvy. They're well seasoned tech buyers. They don't need a whole lot of hand holding. But if you've got something that's a little more complex, if it's got a longer buying cycle, product-led growth isn't going to cut it. People are going to get into your tool. They're going to get lost. They're not going to have a great experience. It won't convert. So that's where that's where the demo sales led book a demo type motion works best. And then one of my favorites is the marketing led growth, of course, being a marketer. And that really shines. Marketing led is also called full funnel or omni-channel approach. And this is where the marketing owns the entire customer journey from SEO, thought leadership, and building demand gen engine across many channels, wherever that buyer may be, and helping guide them through the discovery and investigation type phases of their buying journey. So that's I think it's a best used when you have strong content creation teams, when you're able to do that multi-touch attribution to make sure you're measuring that ROI. That's when your motion can be more of that marketing led growth.
I think of product led growth being a traditional SaaS mechanism, right? I think of marketing led growth being the old school way of sales and marketing, which goes back to the Procter and Gamble, right? The marketer was at the center of the hub and spoke system, where their job is to get the message out there, help manage the distribution channels, right? Get my people to like Crest toothpaste, and then they can go onto the website and buy Crest toothpaste, but they're also just going to go into Walgreens, and when they're sitting there looking at the wall of products, they're going to remember the marketing and pick the brand. So I think of that being more of like a CPG centric growth strategy.
Mhm.
Then you also get into this sales led growth. How is sales led growth different than the other two?
Yeah, so sales led growth is definitely for those more complex products, the ones that aren't straightforward, that it's not necessarily the easiest for someone to just swipe their credit card, put in their login information, and self onboard. So it's like when there's going to be a more intensive onboarding process, it really shines at those higher ticket items and those enterprise solutions that have long relationship building processes to them. And I think you see markets where there's a personal connection and trust are paramount to making the deal work. It's going to take meeting them in person, perhaps doing on site visits. It's not just a simple transactional relationship.
Yeah, I think that in sales led growth, there's the enterprise B2B software, right? I'm sure everybody that uses Salesforce probably has a Salesforce rep of some sort. So you get
Yep.
these big sales teams that are going in and not only telling you why the product is great, but also helping you with the onboarding and managing sort of the ongoing customer relationship.
Yeah. Oh,
That's sort of the tech version. I think there's also like car salesman. That's
yeah, that's definitely
you
sales led.
sales led growth. You go in and it's the car salesman that's buying you the car, and a little bit of that is relationship driven. How much do you like the car salesman, and how shiny is his suit?
Oh, I've got a perfect story for that. I just bought a car, and there is a
What'd you
Hyundai.
get?
I got a Hyundai Santa Fe, the new one, and there's a Hyundai dealership so close to my house that on a nice day I could walk to it. So my wife and I went in there when we were doing our due diligence and just wanted to look at different vehicles, test them out. Met a salesperson, did not click at all. This person was pretty much a stereotype in a negative way. Ended up going to a dealership 28 miles down the road in New Braunfels. I'm in San Marcos, Texas, all the way down there, and wonderful dealership. Like the salespeople, it's the same vehicle, almost the same pricing, relatively, and we were able to negotiate a good deal. Liked the team. That's the one we bought from, not the one that's super close to our home because of the salesperson. And we made it a very long sales cycle. I think we were shopping for this car for
You
like
made him earn it. Good for you.
but
They try to shake you down. Sometimes you have to give it back.
yeah, but
Uh, we got this sort of dynamic of, all right, there's marketing, sales, product led growth. I'll even throw in founder led growth, which is the hybrid of marketing and sales led growth. You got your founder is the
yeah,
face of the company who's pushing out content and being the marketer, and then trying to get you to engage with them. Honestly, that's our marketing strategy. Is I try
yeah,
to be out there everywhere I can. Hopefully people know, trust the content we produce, and my face isn't, so it's okay. It's not the worst. It's not the best face, but
good.
recognizable. And then when they think about doing podcast production, they know who to look for and where to go. Let's blend those into marketing and sales. So let's just have the three. How do you figure out which version of XLG your company is the right fit for?
Some of it you just have to be inward focused and be honest with yourself about the product you're selling and who your ICP is and what is going to appeal to them. Are they the type who don't want to deal with a person? Like your tool is simple enough. They just want to make that login, kick the tires for 7 to 15 days. And then if they like it, it works for them, add their credit card and be on with it. Or is it a demographic that might be older, maybe more appreciative of a higher touch experience? So some of it's knowing your buyer, some of it is knowing your product. Are they going to be able in a product led motion get to those wow moments and see instant value? It's really how quickly will the user experience the payback? If that payback is going to be quick, those wow moments are readily apparent, then that's a good match for your product led growth. But if it's a highly regulated industry or highly complex, it's probably not a good fit for product led. You should probably do more of a sales led growth motion.
What I'm hearing from you is the variables that go into it are one, how good is your product? How easy is it for someone to get value in a self service model? Two, seems like there's a little bit of price point here. Yeah, sure, I'm willing to throw down a credit card as a trial, right?
Hmm.
There's some variability here, but people aren't using a product led growth to buy a
Yeah.
car with the asterisks of Tesla. People seem to just go and buy them online. Is it a relatively low reoccurring charge? There's also the usability and understandability of your product. That
Yeah.
seems to fit into the product led growth. And honestly, I think of it as like the price points $9.99 a month to a couple $100 a month reoccurring subscription based model. Sometimes it's usage based. Can you easily use the product and not create a lot of cost of goods sold? That seems to fit into product led growth.
Yeah.
When you get into sales and marketing led growth, what's the difference?
So if you look at marketing led growth, and you mentioned Salesforce earlier, Salesforce is a great example of a sales led growth machine. Okay, very good at it, aimed at larger enterprises, very complex tool. You definitely need some more hand holding with onboarding. But then if you look at one of their counterparts, one of their competitors, HubSpot, that's marketing led growth right there. They are a media machine. They put a lot of focus into content creation, SEO, and marketing strategy. And they were willing to put those investments in to all those different channels, from podcasts to newsletters to commercials and big events. And it's paid off for them. So it's like they both took two different routes, and both have seen tremendous success. And I think HubSpot and some other good examples of that would be like SEMrush is another good marketing led growth company. They've proven the old adage, content is king. Being an avid chess fan, I like to say that strategy is the queen, and and we all know that's the more powerful piece. So if you are just building content without a strategy, without a very clear plan for that content, your marketing led growth probably won't experience the same success that like a SEMrush or a HubSpot did. But when sales led growth shines, that's the challenges there can be scaling. How do you scale hiring, training good sales teams? Not all sales leaders are created equal. And I find it's more can be more unpredictable with the potential for longer sales cycles. And it's you got a lot of personalities involved, a lot of people. And if they don't mesh, like me and that car salesman, it's not going to fly. So that is one of the challenges with a sales like growth is you're putting a lot of people into it.
Yeah, your sales led growth is really dependent on having a big enough, long enough sales cycle, high volume, high value, longer sales cycle, which needs customization and attention
Mhm.
from a real person, right? It's not just about getting the message out there, it's about customizing and finding the fit. And I do think that there's a world here where you get the marketing led growth, right? You have to have marketing to build your brand, but fundamentally, the marketing is driving the creation of leads. And I don't want to go to MQL and
Into the
SQLs because we
funnel.
don't ever talk about those things. But basically, Glenn Ross, I can't say that. Marketing drives the leads, and then the salespeople need to close them to drive the business. There is a hybrid between the two of these.
Absolutely. And we see that at EZO. We've got product, both motions, product led and sales led growth active. Yep.
So, how do you evaluate the difference between the models? Being someone who has multiple different types of XLG models that you're applying, how do you figure out what's successful for you?
For us, it goes back to knowing our product and knowing our buyers and knowing that we've got a couple of products that are very easy to onboard. They're more SMB mid market focused. So they lend themselves to people who just can log in self service, and our easy office inventory tracking system, and our easy rent out. People can just run that themselves. That very little handholding needed. And but then we got some more complex ones like our CMMS tool, that preventative maintenance platform. That's great for maintenance teams, but that takes some setup, that takes some integrations, that takes to make that work for them. So that's going to be more of that sales relationship driven growth model. And same with Asset Sonar. So IT asset management's not, it's very complex. There's a lot of moving parts. And because of that complexity at a certain scale from like mid-market and above to enterprise, that is definitely a sales-led growth motion.
I think a lot of moving parts resonates with me
Exactly.
when you're talking about asset management. It's literally a lot of moving
Literally
parts.
moving, tracking
Uh,
them.
what I'm hearing from you, and maybe this is the most important thing to think about, is that you can have different types of XLG depending on what your product. Your brand does not need to stick to all sales led or all marketing led. You can have a down market starter product, which is product led. You're marketing your core product, and then you've got an enterprise sales led strategy as well. It's not one size fits all. So, for the companies that are thinking about, honestly, for me, like I'm thinking about what is the right mechanism for our 2025 go to market. Should we be focused on more content and being marketing led? Should we go do more cold outreach and focus on sales? Or just build a product like our podcast that tend to attract people into our sales cycle? How do you figure out what's right for you? And what do you do in the short term to figure out and test the right model for your business?
Some of it is being very deliberative about your testing. You don't just throw things against the wall. With purpose, it is worthwhile to try out an outbound marketing sales led strategy to help build up your pipeline. While you continue to make the great content on your podcast and you continue doing the marketing led growth things, and you start to measure which channels are bringing not the most, but the best leads in. Which ones are bringing the ones with the highest lifetime value, the stickiest ones, the ones who are repeat customers. So there is some testing you should do, and you shouldn't ignore one for the other right out the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that with most things in marketing, it's both an art and a science. And with figuring out your growth strategy, you need to not only take a good look in the mirror and understand what your product is, what are its strengths, how easy is it to use, but what does your customer need? What type of relationship do they want to have? If they're looking for hand holding, you're going to be a sales led growth engine. If you are a company that needs to rely on building a brand to create awareness and position yourself to be the experts, all right, now you're looking at marketing led.
Yeah.
If you have a distribution channel where you're being stacked up against everybody else in a commodity type setting, your brand matters, you're marketing led. If you've got this amazing product that just tends to have virality and is really easy to use, you're probably product led. Fundamentally, you got to understand what your company is and who your customers are, the relationships they want to have.